Ryan's small ship hovered above the red surface of Zythera. The planet looked quiet from the sky, but he knew danger could be hiding beneath its rocky hills. Zythera was famous for its rare crystals, powerful enough to fuel human cities for years. That was why Ryan had come. Humans needed these crystals, and he had the skill to get them. He landed near a wide cave that cut into a mountainside. The ground shook lightly under his feet as he stepped out. The air was thin but breathable, and the sunlight reflected sharply from the red dust. He carried a small pack with tools, sensors, and a scanner to detect crystal deposits. His hands tightened on the handle of his pack as he looked at the entrance. Something about the cave felt alive, like it was watching him. Inside, the tunnels were dark and narrow. Strange markings covered the walls. Ryan could see footprints, many of them, and they were not human. He recognized them immediately as the marks of the Vorin, the alien miners who lived on Zythera. They were taller than humans, with long arms and soft, flexible fingers. Their faces were expressive, showing emotions humans rarely saw. Ryan moved slowly, careful not to make sudden noises. He wanted to see the crystals first before encountering any Vorin. But as he walked deeper, he heard soft voices ahead. The voices were high-pitched and urgent. Ryan froze. He could not understand the words, but the fear in the tones was clear. Suddenly, a Vorin appeared in front of him. The alien's skin shimmered green in the dim light. Its eyes were wide with panic. "Take it out, I beg you," the Vorin shouted. Ryan jumped back, startled. He had never heard a voice so filled with desperation. Ryan noticed that the Vorin was pointing at a small device in the middle of the tunnel. The device was strange. It glowed faintly, and wires stretched from it like roots. Ryan's hands trembled when he reached for it. The Vorin tried to stop him, moving closer, but fear made its body stiff. I don't understand," Ryan said carefully. "What is this? Why should I take it out?" The Vorin shook its head violently. Its voice cracked as it spoke again. It is dangerous. If you touch wrong, it can kill me." Ryan stepped back and examined the device. It was not like any human technology he had seen. It had smooth surfaces with small glowing lines running across it. He noticed tiny symbols along the edge, almost like writing. He remembered his training. Sometimes, alien machines could respond to gentle touch, not force. The Vorin continued to tremble. Ryan could see its chest rising quickly as it tried to breathe calmly. The alien's fear was real, not fake. Ryan felt something stir in him. Humans could feel empathy, even for creatures very different from themselves. He wanted to help, but he had to be careful. Ryan spoke slowly. "I will help you. Show me how. We need to do this carefully." The Vorin hesitated, but then it pointed to a series of symbols on the device. "Press here, then here," slowly, it said, its voice barely a whisper. Ryan nodded and followed the instructions. His hands were still trembling, but he kept them steady. Each movement made the device glow brighter. He felt energy running under his fingers, not dangerous, but strange, as if the device could sense his thoughts. The Vorin watched, its wide eyes never leaving Ryan's hands. Suddenly, a small tremor shook the tunnel. Dust fell from the ceiling, and Ryan had to hold his balance. The Vorin gasped in fear, moving closer, and whispered, "Careful." Ryan took a deep breath. Humans had faced challenges like this before. They were survivors. They could remain calm in danger. Slowly, he followed the sequence of symbols, one by one. Each press made the device react, and the Vorin's breathing became steadier. After a few tense minutes, the device stopped glowing. Silence filled the tunnel. The Vorin slowly lowered its hands, still trembling but relieved. Ryan stepped back and looked at it. They did not speak, but a connection formed in that quiet moment. Humans and aliens could understand each other through actions, courage, and care. Ryan smiled softly. He had come to Zythera for crystals, but he realized that something else was more important: trust. If humans and aliens could work together, they could face challenges even in the most dangerous places. The Vorin finally spoke again, this time with a softer tone. "Thank you, human. You are brave." Ryan nodded. "We help each other. That is what matters." He looked at the tunnel ahead. The crystals waded deeper inside Zythera, but he also knew there were more lessons to learn. Humans could survive anywhere, adapt, and find solutions. That was the real power. With careful steps, Ryan moved further into the cave, the Vorin following behind. Together, they ventured into the red darkness, ready to face whatever lay ahead. Ryan moved deeper into the tunnels with Morrow, the Vorin, following closely. The walls were rough and carved with strange patterns that glowed faintly in the dim light. The deeper they went, the warmer the tunnels became. The faint hum of the device they had just handled still lingered in Ryan's mind, a reminder that this place was alive in ways humans had not yet understood. "Why is this tunnel so important?" Ryan asked, keeping his voice low. He did not want to disturb the delicate balance of the cave. Morrow's eyes flickered nervously. "This tunnel, it holds the core of our work. The crystals grow here. But they are fragile. Many have tried to take them without understanding. They fail." Ryan nodded. Humans had always faced challenges that required patience and careful thought. He adjusted his scanner and walked slowly, careful not to disturb the walls. Every step made small echoes, but the echoes faded quickly in the vast space of the mine. After several minutes, they reached a wider chamber. Light shimmered from crystal formations embedded in the rock. The crystals pulsed faintly, almost like they were breathing. Ryan's eyes widened. He had seen crystals before, but none like these. They seemed alive. Morrow approached one of the crystals carefully. Its surface glowed brighter as it neared. The Vorin touched it lightly with a long finger, and the crystal responded, sending tiny waves of energy across the room. Ryan could feel a faint vibration under his feet. "These crystals are our life," Morrow said softly. "Without them, our tunnels die. Without them, we suffer." Ryan looked around, understanding for the first time that the Vorin did not simply mine for profit. They lived in harmony with the crystals. Every movement, every action in the tunnel had a purpose. Humans often adapted, survived, and improved situations using both strength and intelligence. Ryan realized that his careful approach made a difference already. Suddenly, a flicker of movement caught Ryan's eye. A small rock slide had started at the edge of the chamber. Dust rose, and rocks tumbled down. Ryan reacted instinctively. He stepped forward and caught a falling rock with one hand while signaling Morrow to move. The Vorin followed immediately, their long arms helping to clear the smaller stones. "Careful, human!" Morrow shouted. "The crystals." Ryan's focus sharpened. Humans had survived countless dangerous situations, and he was trained to remain calm under pressure. He guided Morrow to safety and managed to stabilize the rocks. The chamber quieted, and the dust settled. Ryan looked around, relieved. Morrow's eyes shone with respect. "You are careful. You think fast. Humans are clever." Ryan smiled slightly. "We learn from every challenge. And we can help each other." Morrow nodded, still catching his breath. "Yes. Help is rare." Ryan moved closer to one of the larger crystal clusters. He used his scanner to measure its energy output. The results were higher than he expected. These crystals could provide energy for human cities for months, maybe years. But he remembered Morrow's warning. He had to be gentle. "We cannot take too many," Morrow said. "The balance must remain. If we take too much, the tunnels weaken." The crystals die. Ryan nodded. Humans often faced limits, but they respected natural rules when necessary. He carefully recorded the measurements and marked the crystals that could be safely harvested. He was learning from the Vorin, just as the Vorin were learning from him. A sudden vibration ran through the ground. Ryan and Morrow froze. The walls shivered. It was not a small tremor. Something deeper in the tunnels was moving. The Vorin's fear returned, sharper than before. "What is it?" Ryan asked, his voice steady. Humans had faced unknown dangers and found solutions through courage and intelligence. Morrow's skin flickered nervously. "The core, it senses outsiders. We must be careful. It tests everyone who comes near." Ryan examined the ground. Strange lines glowed faintly, like veins of energy running beneath the surface. The device from earlier had connected to this energy, he realized. It was part of a larger system that the Vorin relied on. Human hands might tremble, but human brains could solve complex problems. "I can help," Ryan said. "We can pass this safely if we work together." Morrow looked doubtful but allowed him to guide the way. They moved slowly, following the glowing lines like a map. Ryan noticed the energy pulses synchronized with their movements. Each step had to be precise. Human focus and patience made the difference, and he kept his hands steady despite the tension. Finally, they reached a safer section of the chamber. The energy pulses slowed, and the danger seemed to pass. Morrow relaxed slightly, though his body still trembled from fear and relief. "You are brave," Morrow said. "You understand balance." Ryan smiled, feeling a quiet pride. Humans often succeeded not just through strength, but through thinking, careful planning, and courage under pressure. He had learned that even in an alien world, human abilities could shine. He glanced at the crystals again. They were beautiful, alive, and fragile. Taking them would require careful planning, but with the Vorin's help, humans could succeed without destroying what they did not understand. Ryan took a deep breath. He was ready to continue. The tunnels held more challenges, but he knew humans could face them. Patience, intelligence, and courage were tools no alien could underestimate. Together with Morrow, he would explore deeper into Zythera, where the rarest crystals and greatest lessons awaited. Ryan and Morrow moved carefully through the tunnels. The air was warmer and filled with a faint hum, like the heartbeat of the planet itself. Every step was measured, and Ryan kept his scanner ready to detect danger. He had learned from the previous chambers that Zythera demanded patience and focus. Rushing could cause disaster. Morrow led the way, pointing to areas where the crystals grew more densely. "The deeper we go, the stronger the energy," the Vorin said. "But the risk also grows. Many who try to reach the core are never seen again." Ryan nodded. Humans often faced risks, and survival depended on intelligence and careful thinking. He kept his mind clear, focusing on the path and on the Vorin's instructions. The bond between them was growing. Ryan had earned Morrow's trust, and Morrow's guidance helped Ryan navigate the alien tunnels safely. As they walked, Ryan noticed a strange shimmer along the walls. It was different from the glowing patterns of the crystals. He reached out to touch it lightly, careful not to disturb it. The shimmer pulsed, and a soft vibration ran through his hand. Morrow froze. "Do not touch that," the Vorin warned. "It is a warning system. It senses every movement near the core." Ryan withdrew his hand immediately. Humans had learned to read signals and respond quickly to danger. He examined the shimmer carefully, realizing it was not a trap but a system to guide safe passage. If they followed it, they could avoid the dangers deeper in the mine. "Show me the safe path," Ryan said. "I will follow your lead." Morrow pointed along the shimmering lines. "Step lightly. Do not hurry. The core tests patience." They moved slowly, each step timed with the pulses of the shimmer. The tunnels twisted and turned, and Ryan felt the weight of the deep mines pressing around him. Yet humans were adaptable. He adjusted his balance, calculated his steps, and used his hands to stabilize himself against the walls when necessary. After a few tense minutes, they reached a chamber filled with larger crystal formations. The glow was brighter, casting long reflections on the walls. Ryan could feel the energy from the crystals. It was strong but not harmful. It seemed alive, like the crystals responded to the presence of other living beings. "These are the largest in the tunnels," Morrow whispered. "The core is close. The energy grows stronger here. You must be careful. One wrong move can harm you or the crystals." Ryan nodded. Humans often faced challenges that required delicate solutions. He carefully placed his scanner near one of the crystals. It detected energy flows and vibrations that Ryan had never encountered before. He took notes and marked the safest areas for harvesting later. Suddenly, a low rumble echoed through the chamber. Dust fell from the ceiling, and some small crystals shook violently. Ryan's heart raced, but he remembered his training. Humans could stay calm in dangerous situations. He guided Morrow to a safe area and assessed the trembling crystals. "The core is responding," Morrow said. "It tests those who come near. It senses courage, patience, and understanding." Ryan understood. Humans had always succeeded in unknown environments by staying calm, observing carefully, and acting intelligently. This was another test. He steadied his hands and continued to examine the chamber. Each crystal was a puzzle, and the human's strength was in their ability to solve puzzles carefully. A sudden movement caught Ryan's eye. One of the larger crystals began to pulse rapidly, sending small waves of energy across the floor. Morrow gasped. "It is reacting to you." Ryan froze. Humans often adapted quickly. He observed the crystal and noticed a pattern in its pulses. He mirrored the pattern with careful movements of his hands, keeping his body steady. Slowly, the crystal's pulses returned to normal. Morrow stared in awe. "You understand," the Voran said. "You adapt. Humans are clever. You think even in danger." Ryan smiled. "We survive by learning and solving problems. That is what humans do." The chamber grew quieter. The crystals returned to their steady glow, and the air felt lighter. Ryan realized that the deeper they went, the more he relied on careful thinking and patience. Humans often succeeded in challenges that required both intelligence and courage. Morrow relaxed slightly, though his body still trembled from fear and excitement. "The core is near," he said. "We must go carefully. One step wrong, it will test us harder." Ryan nodded. He was ready. Humans had faced countless unknowns and had always found ways to survive. The mine was dangerous, but his mind was sharp, and his hands were steady. With Morrow's guidance, he could navigate anything Zythera presented. Together, they moved deeper into the tunnels. The glow of the crystals grew brighter, the energy stronger, and the tension heavier. Ryan felt the responsibility of each step. Humans could face unknown worlds and still find solutions. His courage, patience, and intelligence would guide them through the challenges ahead. Ryan and Morrow paused at the edge of a wide chamber. The walls were filled with enormous crystals that glowed softly in shades of blue and green. The energy in the air was stronger here, and Ryan could feel a faint vibration under his feet. Every human sense was alert. He knew this chamber was important, perhaps the heart of the mine. Morrow's long fingers traced the glowing veins on one of the crystals. "This is where the energy is strongest," the Voran said. "The core responds to all who enter. It tests knowledge, patience, and courage. You must be careful." Ryan studied the crystals. Humans had always faced unknown challenges, and observation was the first step toward understanding. He moved slowly, examining the patterns on the walls, the energy pulses, and the faint hum that filled the air. The crystals were connected in a network, and each seemed aware of the others. "This is more than a mine," Ryan said softly. "It is a living system. Everything here is connected." Morrow nodded. "Yes. Every crystal, every tunnel, every device is part of a balance. Humans do not always respect balance. You understand it?" Ryan felt a quiet pride. Humans often succeeded in environments where brute force would fail. Thought, care, and intelligence were just as powerful as strength. He wanted to show Morrow that humans could protect this delicate balance. As they moved further into the chamber, a strange device caught Ryan's attention. It was partially buried under small rocks, glowing faintly with lines of energy that ran to the nearest crystal. The device looked similar to the one he had seen earlier. Morrow froze. "Do not touch that," the Vorin said urgently. "It is linked to the core. Only those who understand its patterns can interact safely. One wrong move can harm you and the crystals." Ryan examined it carefully. Humans were curious by nature, but curiosity without caution was dangerous. He kept his hands at a safe distance, observing the flow of energy. He noticed subtle patterns, pulses that repeated at regular intervals. Human minds were trained to recognize patterns quickly, and Ryan began to follow the rhythm with his eyes. "I can help," he said. "We can understand it together. I will follow your guidance." Morrow hesitated but then stepped closer, guiding Ryan's vision along the lines of energy. "Watch closely. The pulses indicate the safe sequence. Move too quickly, and the energy can harm us both." Ryan focused. Humans often succeeded in difficult situations because they could remain calm while analyzing details. He memorized the sequence of pulses and prepared to act. Patience and careful observation were human strengths, and he would rely on them now. They spent several minutes studying the device. Every vibration, every glow, was a clue. Morrow's eyes flickered nervously, but Ryan noticed that the Vorin's fear slowly turned into trust. The human's calm, careful approach reassured him. Humans often inspired confidence when others felt danger. Finally, Ryan nodded. "I am ready. Show me the first step." Morrow guided him to place his hands near the device without touching it. The energy pulses ran along his arms like a soft current, but it was not painful. Ryan's fingers trembled slightly, but he remained steady. He followed the rhythm of the pulses, moving one hand in sync with the pattern. The device responded, glowing brighter but without danger. "You understand," Morrow said softly. "Few do. Humans, you learn quickly." Ryan smiled slightly. Humans often succeeded because they could adapt. Even in unknown environments, their minds could solve problems that seemed impossible. He carefully continued the sequence, his hands following the energy patterns, his eyes tracking every pulse. Suddenly, a small tremor ran through the chamber. Crystals rattled, and dust fell from the ceiling. Ryan did not panic. Humans had faced dangers in many forms and survived by thinking clearly. He adjusted his stance, keeping his hands steady, and signaled Morrow to move to a safer position. The device reacted to the tremor, glowing brighter and sending pulses in a new pattern. Ryan studied the change quickly. "It adapts," he said. "We must adapt too." Morrow watched in awe as Ryan adjusted his movements, matching the new rhythm of the device. Each step and hand motion had to be precise. Humans often succeeded in challenges that required intelligence and courage at the same time. Ryan was proving that now. Minutes passed, but Ryan remained focused. The device's pulses gradually returned to their original pattern, and the chamber quieted. Morrow let out a long breath and stepped closer. "You are brave. You think in danger. Humans are clever." Ryan nodded. "We succeed by understanding, not by rushing. We can solve problems carefully, even in difficult places." Morrow's eyes shone with admiration. You have shown patience and wisdom. The core will respect you now. Few outsiders earn this. Ryan felt a sense of achievement. Humans often thrived in challenging environments by combining courage, intelligence, and care. The mine of Zythera was dangerous, but careful thought and steady hands could overcome its tests. He looked at the glowing crystals around him. They were beautiful, powerful, and fragile. Humans could learn from them, just as the crystals seemed to respond to life around them. Ryan understood that the deeper they went, the more he would rely on patience, intelligence, and courage. With a steady breath, Ryan prepared to move further into the chamber. Morrow followed, still cautious but trusting. Together, Human and Vorin would face the deeper challenges of Zythera, proving that careful thinking and bravery could succeed in even the most dangerous places. Ryan and Morrow stepped cautiously into the next chamber. The walls were lined with enormous crystals that shimmered in colors they had not seen before. The air was thick with energy, and the hum of the crystals felt like a heartbeat beneath their feet. Every step they took sent vibrations across the floor, and Ryan could sense that this part of the mine was alive in ways he had yet to understand. "This is the last chamber before the core," Morrow said in a low voice. His long fingers traced the walls carefully. "The energy here is strongest. One wrong step, it can trigger the defense system. Many who reach this point fail because they lose focus." Ryan nodded. Humans had always faced danger and uncertainty. Success often came from intelligence, calm thinking, and careful action. He adjusted his scanner and studied the crystal formations. Patterns in the glow indicated safe pathways, and Ryan noticed subtle pulses that warned of potential instability. "We must move carefully," he said. "We can do this together." Morrow nodded, still tense. They stepped forward, following the paths indicated by the glowing pulses. The vibrations beneath their feet grew stronger as they approached the center of the chamber. The hum of the crystals was almost deafening now, but Ryan kept his focus. Humans often thrived where others panicked because they could think clearly under pressure. Suddenly, a low rumble shook the chamber. Dust fell from the ceiling, and small crystals rattled violently. Ryan steadied himself and extended a hand to Morrow. "Hold on," he said. "We must remain calm." The rumble grew stronger. Large cracks began to appear in the walls, and the floor shifted slightly. The energy from the crystals pulsed rapidly, reacting to the tremors. Morrow gasped and stumbled backward. "It is the core. It senses us. We must not fail." Ryan took a deep breath. Humans often succeeded in extreme situations by remaining focused and using careful logic. He scanned the chamber quickly and noticed a sequence of energy pulses running along the largest crystal. "Follow my lead," he said to Morrow. "Step with the pulses. Time it carefully." They moved together, matching their steps to the rhythm of the energy pulses. Each motion had to be precise. One misstep could trigger the defense system or damage the crystals. Ryan felt the tension in his muscles, but his mind remained clear. Humans could stay calm when others panicked, and this moment was proof of that strength. As they neared the center of the chamber, a shard of crystal fell from above. Ryan reacted instantly. He caught the shard in his hand and guided it safely to the ground. Morrow stared in surprise. "You are quick and clever," the Vorin said. "Humans are extraordinary." Ryan nodded. "We survive by thinking fast and staying calm. Danger is part of learning." The core of the chamber glowed brighter as they approached. The energy pulses became more rapid, and the floor vibrated under their feet. The device from earlier appeared ahead, connected to the largest crystal by glowing veins of energy. Ryan studied it carefully. Humans often solved problems by observation and patience rather than force. He would need both now. Morrow guided him closer. "The device, it controls the energy flow. If we misstep, the chamber will collapse." Ryan extended his hands toward the device, feeling the faint pulse of energy beneath his fingers. His hands trembled slightly, but his mind was steady. Humans often succeeded where others failed because they could think clearly under pressure. He followed the sequence he had memorized earlier, moving slowly and deliberately. The device responded to his touch, glowing brighter but without danger. The energy pulses stabilized, and the rumbling slowed. Moro watched in awe. "You understand, balance. You are brave and intelligent. Few outsiders succeed here." Ryan smiled slightly. "We succeed by understanding, not by rushing. Careful thinking and patience can overcome danger." The chamber quieted. The crystals glowed steadily, and the vibrations beneath their feet diminished. Moro stepped closer, his eyes filled with respect. "Humans, your strength is not just in your hands. It is in your mind. You have earned the core's respect." Ryan felt a quiet pride. Humans had always thrived in unknown environments by using intelligence, courage, and careful planning. He looked at the glowing crystals and realized that they were more than a resource. They were a living system, delicate and powerful, requiring respect and understanding. "Let us continue," Ryan said. "The core is near, but we can reach it together." Moro nodded. The Voron's fear had turned to trust. Together, human and alien moved toward the center of the chamber, ready to face the core. Humans could adapt, survive, and succeed in even the most dangerous situations. Their courage and intelligence would guide them through the remaining challenges of Zythera. With careful steps, they advanced, knowing that the greatest test was still ahead. Ryan felt the responsibility of each motion, the importance of patience and observation. Humans had the ability to overcome even the most extreme danger, and this moment proved it once again. Ryan and Moro stepped into the heart of the chamber. The core of Zythera's mine lay before them, a massive crystal formation glowing brighter than anything Ryan had ever seen. The air hummed with power, and energy pulses ran along the walls and floor, as if the mine itself were alive. Every vibration seemed to resonate with their own heartbeat. Moro's long fingers traced the veins of energy that connected the core to the surrounding crystals. "The core, it is sensitive," the Voron said. "It reacts to intent, to thought, to care. Many who come near do not survive because they act carelessly." Ryan studied the core carefully. Humans had always thrived in difficult situations because they combined intelligence with courage. Strength alone was not enough. Observation, patience, and careful action often made the difference between success and failure. He would need all of these now. He stepped closer to the device that had caused so much fear earlier. The glowing veins connected it directly to the core. Ryan's hands trembled, but his mind remained focused. Humans often faced challenges where hesitation could be dangerous, yet careful thinking guided them to the right solution. Moro watched him closely. "Be careful," the Voron whispered. "One wrong move, the energy will harm you and the crystals. You must follow the pattern. Trust the pulses." Ryan nodded. He had learned to read the rhythm of the energy. Humans were adaptable and quick to learn patterns, even in alien environments. He studied the flowing lines, memorizing their sequence. Every pulse was a signal, every glow a guide. As he reached for the device, the core pulsed sharply. The floor trembled, and some smaller crystals shook violently. Ryan did not panic. Humans could stay calm even when danger appeared suddenly. He adjusted his stance and followed the pulses carefully, moving his hands in sync with the energy rhythm. Moro gasped as the device responded to Ryan's touch. "You understand," he said. "You adapt like no human before. Few can survive here." Ryan focused entirely on the task. Every motion had to be precise. The device reacted to thought as much as touch. Humans had always relied on intelligence as much as skill. He concentrated, letting his mind guide his hands. Slowly, the device began to release its hold on the energy. The pulsing vibrations softened, and the core's glow became steadier. Suddenly, a sharp tremor shook the chamber. Ryan almost lost his balance. Morrow lunged to steady him, but Ryan's focus did not waver. He adjusted his hand movements and timed each motion with the pulses of the energy. Humans often succeeded in situations where hesitation or fear could cause failure. Ryan's calm mind and careful thinking allowed them to withstand the core's sudden test. The core pulsed one final time, then remained steady. The dangerous vibrations stopped, and the chamber became quiet. Morrow stepped back, awe in his eyes. "You have earned the core's respect," the Vorin said softly. "You are clever and patient. Humans, you are extraordinary." Ryan took a deep breath. Humans often succeeded because they could adapt quickly and remain calm under pressure. Strength alone was not enough. Observation, patience, and careful action had brought them to this moment. He smiled at Morrow. "We did it together," he said. "We solved the problem without harming the crystals or the mine." Morrow's skin shimmered slightly, a sign of relief and admiration. "Yes. You understand balance, respect, and care. The core accepts your presence. Few outsiders survive the test." Ryan examined the chamber. The crystals glowed steadily, powerful yet safe. The device that had caused so much fear earlier now rested quietly, connected to the core but no longer dangerous. Humans often succeeded in unfamiliar environments by using intelligence, courage, and careful observation. That success was clear now. Morrow guided Ryan toward a section of the chamber with the rarest crystals. "These are safe to harvest," the Vorin said. "If we take too many or act carelessly, the tunnels weaken. But you have proven your understanding. Together, we can take only what is needed." Ryan nodded. Humans had always respected nature and resources when survival required it. They could take what they needed while protecting the environment. He carefully scanned the crystals, marking the ones that could be harvested safely. "You have shown patience and intelligence," Morrow said. "Humans can solve problems that others cannot. You have earned our trust." Ryan felt a sense of quiet pride. Humans often thrived in the unknown because they combined thought, courage, and careful action. The mine of Zythera was dangerous, but their collaboration had succeeded. The crystals could be taken safely, and the balance of the tunnels remained intact. He looked at Morrow. "We can leave soon, carrying what we need. But I will remember this place. Humans can achieve much when we use our minds carefully and act with courage." Morrow nodded. "Yes. You have shown the true strength of humans. You are brave, intelligent, and careful. Zythera will remember this day." With steady steps, Ryan and Morrow prepared to leave the chamber. The core pulsed gently behind them, a sign of acceptance. Humans had survived a challenge that many aliens feared. Their intelligence, courage, and careful thinking had allowed them to succeed. Together, they walked toward the exit. Humans could adapt, solve problems, and survive anywhere, even in the most dangerous alien environments. Zythera had tested them, and they had passed. Ryan and Morrow moved slowly back through the tunnels. The glow of the crystals lit their path, casting soft reflections on the walls. The air felt lighter now, calm, and full of quiet energy. The core had accepted them, and the dangerous pulses had faded. Ryan could feel a sense of accomplishment and relief. Humans often thrived in unknown worlds because they combined intelligence, courage, and patience, and today had proven it. Morrow glanced at Ryan. "You have shown bravery and understanding. Few humans would have succeeded in the core. Many would have panicked or acted too quickly. You are remarkable." Ryan smiled. "I could not have done it without your guidance. Humans succeed because we observe, learn, and adapt. We survive by thinking carefully, not rushing blindly." The Vorin nodded. "Yes. And you respect balance. You understand our ways. The crystals are alive, and they respond to care and caution. You have earned our trust. Ryan felt a warm satisfaction. Humans had always been able to solve problems that seemed impossible. Intelligence and courage were their greatest tools. Even on an alien world, he had relied on patience, careful observation, and steady action to succeed. As they moved deeper into the tunnels, they reached the area where the harvestable crystals were stored. The crystals glowed with energy, waiting to be collected safely. Ryan took his scanner and carefully marked the ones that could be taken without harming the mine. Humans often succeeded because they thought ahead and respected natural systems, and Ryan's care ensured that Zythera's delicate balance remained intact. Morrow followed, observing the process. You are thoughtful. Humans think quickly, but you also think carefully. This is rare. Ryan carefully picked the marked crystals and placed them into his pack. Each one was heavy but manageable, and he made sure the crystals were stable and unharmed. He felt proud not only for completing the task but for doing so without endangering the mine or the Vorin. Humans often thrived in challenges because they combined skill with thoughtfulness, and this was a perfect example. Once the crystals were secured, Ryan and Morrow began their journey back toward the surface. The tunnels felt less threatening now. The hum of the crystals was steady and calm, like the heartbeat of the planet itself. Ryan walked with confidence. Humans often succeeded in alien environments by observing carefully, learning quickly, and acting with intelligence. Today had shown that clearly. Morrow spoke quietly. Other Vorin will hear of this. They will know that humans can act with care and courage. You have changed how outsiders are seen here. Ryan nodded. Humans had always influenced the worlds they explored, not only through technology but through action and character. Respect and cooperation could achieve what force alone could not. As they reached the entrance of the mine, the red sunlight of Zythera bathed them in a warm glow. Ryan paused and looked back at the tunnels. They were dangerous, alive, and beautiful. Humans had faced the unknown and succeeded. The knowledge of the mine and the crystals would benefit humans, but more importantly, humans and aliens had worked together successfully. Morrow stepped beside him. The core respects you. The mine is safer now because of your careful actions. Humans are clever, brave, and respectful. You have shown what can be achieved when two species work together. Ryan smiled. We learn from each other. Humans survive by observing, adapting, and solving problems carefully. Together, we can face challenges that neither could overcome alone. Morrow's eyes shone. Yes. Cooperation and understanding are rare. You have shown both. Zythera will remember this day. Ryan felt a quiet pride. Humans often succeeded because they used their intelligence and courage together. They could face unknown worlds, understand alien systems, and act in ways that earned trust and respect. Today had proven that beyond doubt. As Ryan prepared to board his ship, he turned to Morrow. I will return to human cities with the crystals. But I will also tell them about Zythera, about you, and about how cooperation makes survival and success possible. Morrow nodded. And we will remember you, human. You have shown that outsiders can act with care, intelligence, and courage. You are welcome here anytime. Ryan climbed into his ship. As the engines hummed to life, he looked down at the glowing tunnels one last time. Humans had once again shown that courage, intelligence, and careful thinking could overcome challenges, even on alien worlds. Cooperation between humans and aliens had created a bond of trust that might last for years. The ship rose into the sky, leaving Zythera behind, but the lessons remained. Humans were resourceful, thoughtful, and brave. They could face danger, solve problems, and act with understanding. Ryan knew that the experience in the mines would guide him and his people in the future. Morrow watched from the surface, the sunlight reflecting off his shimmering skin. He knew that humans were remarkable beings. Their ability to survive, adapt, and cooperate had changed the perception of outsiders forever. Zythera was safe, the crystals were secure, and trust had been built. Ryan's ship disappeared into the horizon. Humans had succeeded once again, proving that intelligence, courage, and respect for life could overcome even the most dangerous challenges. Zythera would always remember the day a human and a Voran worked together to protect the mine and unlock its secrets. Humans were capable of greatness. Ryan had shown it with his actions, patience, and bravery. The future held many unknowns, but one thing was certain: wherever humans went, they could survive, adapt, and inspire trust, even among the stars.